You're 32 years old. You are a senior structural auditor for a massive defense contractor. You have a master's degree in environmental engineering. You live in a quiet suburb in Virginia. You drive a reliable sedan. You pay your mortgage on time, and you spend your weekends attending neighborhood barbecues. You exist in a state of perfectly organized, predictable safety. You understand blueprints, ventilation systems, and power grids. You understand how buildings breathe. That is why they send you to the facility in the desert. Officially, it is an agricultural research station, a massive, unmarked concrete complex sitting 200 miles from the nearest major city. Your job is routine. Audit the HVAC systems, ensure the environmental controls meet federal regulations, sign the paperwork, and fly home. You arrive on a Tuesday. The men at the gate wear military-grade tactical gear, but carry no visible insignia. They check your credentials in complete silence. You are escorted inside. The walls are gray. The fluorescent lights hum with a low mechanical frequency. For 3 days, you review the schematics. You check the airflow ratios. And because you are brilliant at what you do, you notice the math does not add up. The official blueprints show a facility that consumes a specific amount of power and requires a specific volume of air filtration. But the main intake turbines are pulling 3 times that amount. The power grid is drawing enough electricity to run a small city, and that energy is being routed somewhere beneath your feet, somewhere that does not exist on any approved document. A ghost sector. You should ignore it. You should sign your name on the dotted line, to collect your standard paycheck and go back to your quiet suburb. But your brain treats anomalies like puzzles, and you have never left a puzzle unsolved. On Thursday evening, after your official escort leaves you in the administrative wing, you bypass a secondary security door. You follow the massive ventilation ducts downward. You descend 3 flights of concrete stairs into the subterranean level. You swipe your universal contractor badge. The heavy steel door slides open with a pneumatic hiss. You step inside, and your entire understanding of the world shatters in a fraction of a second. It is not an agricultural research station. It is an industrial-scale manufacturing plant. Rows upon rows of stainless steel reactors, advanced chemical distillation units, and automated packaging lines. Dozens of men in full hazmat suits are working in absolute silence. You recognize the chemical smell immediately. It is the sharp, metallic scent of the exact same merchandise that is currently flooding the streets of every major city in the country. The highly synthesized product that politicians vow to eradicate on national television. You are standing inside the largest, most sophisticated production laboratory you have ever seen, and it is funded, protected, and operated by the very institution sworn to destroy it. You hear footsteps behind you. You turn around. A man is standing there. He is wearing a tailored suit. He does not look surprised. He does not reach for a weapon. He looks at you with the calm, calculating eyes of a man who manages global outcomes. He is the director. You are out of your assigned sector, he says. Wasp, his voice is perfectly smooth. You try to speak, but your throat is completely dry. You try to explain that you were just checking the ventilation, that you saw nothing, that you will leave and never say a word. The director holds up a single finger, and you instantly go quiet. The system requires balance, the director explains, walking slowly toward the glass overlooking the lab. The merchandise you see down here generates billions in untraceable capital. Capital that funds operations overseas. Operations that keep this country safe, but which Congress would never officially approve. We do not fight the chaos. We manage it. We monopolize it. We use it. He turns to look at you. The silence in the hallway is absolute. You have 2 options, he says. Option A, you become a permanent security risk. Security risks are resolved quickly. Quietly. Your car is found in a ravine. A tragic accident. Your family grieves and the world moves on. Option B, you noticed our ventilation system is inefficient. You fix it. You optimize our production environment. You become our chief infrastructure engineer. You are compensated for your extreme discretion. He slides a small black phone across the metal table toward you. Pick it up, he says. You think about your wife. You think about your mortgage. You think about the absolute terrifying reach of the men operating this facility. You know that if you refuse, you will never walk up those concrete stairs again. Survival is the most basic human instinct. You reach out with a trembling hand. You pick up the phone. You just became a ghost inside the machine. Your life changes instantly. Your contractor salary is officially doubled. But that is just the cover. Every month, an additional $80,000 is routed into offshore trusts established in your name through intermediaries you will never meet. You upgrade your home. You buy your wife a luxury SUV. You tell her you were promoted to a highly classified national security project. It is the best possible lie because it is technically true. Your job is to optimize the shadows. You design advanced thermal cloaking systems so satellite imagery cannot detect the massive heat signatures generated by the chemical reactors. You build subterranean exhaust scrubbers that eliminate the chemical odors before they reach the desert air. You increase their production efficiency by 40%. You watch the logistics of the operation and it turns your blood to ice. You see military transport vehicles pull into the loading bays at 3 a.m. You watch soldiers, men who believe they are serving their country, loading crates of the merchandise. The product is shipped out on government planes, bypassing all customs, evading all border checkpoints. It is distributed to specialized contacts who filter it down to the streets. The money flows back in duffel bags, completely untraceable, completely clean, ready to fund operations that do not exist on paper. You are the invisible architect of an ecosystem of suffering. You know that the pure merchandise produced in your perfectly ventilated rooms is destroying neighborhoods, breaking families, and fueling a war that the public thinks is real. You are watching a theatrical performance where the state plays both the hero and the villain. And you are the stage manager. The cognitive dissonance begins to rot your mind from the inside out. Paranoia becomes your permanent shadow. You know exactly what happens to liabilities. You start checking your own home for listening devices. You never speak near your cell phone. You wake up at 4 a.m. drenched in cold sweat, listening to the quiet hum of your suburban neighborhood, wondering if the black SUVs are parked at the end of your street. Your wife notices. She sees the dark circles under your eyes. She sees the way you flinch when a car door slams too loudly outside. She asks what is wrong. She begs you to talk to her. It's just the pressure of the new contract. You lie. You lie smoothly now. The truth would not save her. It would only pull her into the blast radius. If she knows what you know, her life expectancy drops to 0. Your silence is the only armor you can offer her. 2 years into the job, the illusion of safety shatters. An associate of yours, a young chemical engineer working on the lower levels, makes a mistake. He isn't trying to expose the operation. He just talks too much at a bar near the base. He mentions a discrepancy in the chemical supply chain to a friend. The next morning, his workstation is empty. You ask the director about him during a standard briefing. The director doesn't even look up from his tablet. He was relocated, the director says. He found a permanent position elsewhere. You know exactly what relocated means. You know about the industrial incinerators on sublevel 4. You know that a human body burns at 1800 degrees and leaves absolutely 0 forensic evidence. You go to the bathroom, lock the door, and vomit until your throat bleeds. You realize that you are not an employee. You are a high-value prisoner. You decide to build an insurance policy. It is a desperate, foolish idea, but the psychological pressure demands action. You start secretly downloading schematics. You copy production logs. You transfer encrypted data onto a microdrive no larger than a coin. You plan to hide it, a dead man's switch. If anything happens to you, the data goes to 3 international journalists. You carry the drive in your shoe for 3 days. You wait for the perfect moment to smuggle it out of the facility. On Friday afternoon, you are summoned to the director's office. You walk in. The room is cold. The director is sitting behind his desk. On the center of the pristine glass surface sits the microdrive. Your heart stops. The air leaves your lungs. You cannot breathe. The internal security protocols are far more advanced than you ever calculated. They monitor every keystroke, every downloaded byte, every microscopic anomaly in the network. They let you steal it just to prove a point. Sit down, the director says. You sit. You feel the absolute certainty of your own approaching end. You wonder if they will use the incinerator or if they will stage a heart attack. We are disappointed, the director says, leaning forward. We gave you wealth. We gave you purpose, and you chose to act like a liability. I wasn't going to use it, you whisper, your voice cracking. I just needed to feel safe. The director smiles. It is the most terrifying thing you have ever seen. Safety is an illusion for civilians. You crossed that line a long time ago. But because your structural knowledge of this facility is still critical, you are not going to be resolved today. He slides a new document across the table. You are no longer a commuter, he explains. You are moving into the facility, permanently. You will live in the executive quarters on sublevel 2. You will have everything you need, but you will never leave this compound again. My wife, you say, panic rising in your throat. My family. Your wife received a call an hour ago, the director says smoothly. She was informed that your expertise was urgently required at a closed overseas facility for the next 5 years. She was generously compensated. She believes you are a patriot. Do not ruin that image for her. You stare at the document. You have just been erased from the surface of the earth. You are legally alive, but functionally dead. The guards step into the room. They do not touch you. They just stand there, waiting for you to accept the mathematics of your new reality. You pick up the pen. You sign the paper. You trade your freedom, your family, and your future for the simple privilege of continuing to breathe. Now you live underground. Your room is comfortable. You have high-speed internet that monitors every site you visit. You eat excellent food prepared by cleared chefs. You go to work. You optimize the ventilation. You ensure the merchandise is produced at peak efficiency. You are the highest-paid engineer in the country. You have millions in accounts you will never be able to spend. You have a family you will never see again. You are the invisible gear in a machine that profits from the destruction of its own people. Every night, you lie in a bed beneath 200 feet of solid rock. You listen to the hum of the massive intake turbines you designed. You listen to the perfect, silent airflow. You built the perfect system. You built an impenetrable, perfectly ventilated fortress, and you locked yourself inside.